Hello students, how are you all? I hope all of you are doing amazing. So welcome all of you at AriserTalent, and AriserTalent is an e-learning platform where you can get the video lectures recorded by the expert faculty of the Kota. Whether it may be of the NEET, IIT, CBSE and NTSE, you will provide it with the old content of your chapters along with the sample papers and the chapter notes you are searching for. Along with that, you will also provide it with the test series, so time to time you can judge your qualification or you can judge how much you have studied and what is left behind. So for this, you have to just subscribe and press the bell icon and just subscribe our channel, that is AriserTalent, so get more amazing videos like this. So just subscribe our channel and go through each video lectures very clearly so the concept has been cleared to your mind. So I'm your physics teacher Krina, welcomes you all, and we were discussing about the light, that is reflection and refraction. So in our last lecture, we have a discussion about the properties of the light and we have seen three types of the medium. Today, we are going to start a very important topic of this chapter, that is known as reflection. So today, we are going to deal with reflection. Now, what actually the reflection is? Reflection is basically a phenomena in which when a light is incident on a polished surface. So, that polished surface will be your mirror. If light is incident on a polished surface, then it will have a tendency to bounce back. It means if it strikes the surface, it will again going to the same medium. It is not going to change its medium and it will simply bounce back. So this phenomena we can say that is known as reflection, and we are seeing the objects just because of the reflection of the light. So just write the basic definition here, that the phenomena of bouncing back of light rays into same medium after striking to any polished surface. So it means when a light ray is going to incident on any polished surface, we can say that it is going to strike that surface and bounce back to the same medium, and this phenomena is actually our reflection. So now understand the reflection with a diagrammatic representation, that what actually happens here. So firstly, we have to consider a mirror here. This will be our polished surface. And we are assuming that a light ray is falling on it. And it strikes the surface, it is bouncing back to the same medium. So you can see that this is a polished surface and this polished surface is dash and I am calling it as a mirror. This is our mirror. This light ray is incident on this surface. Suppose we are having the name of this light ray as A, here I am considering O and here I am considering B. And this will be our line that is perpendicular to the surface and this will be our normal. So normal line I am denoting by N. This will be our certain angle, this will be certain angle, this is certain angle and this will be our certain angle. So you can see that this OA light is striking the mirror surface here. The mirror is dash. And after striking through the surface, it is bouncing back to the same medium. It means the ray is reflected in the same medium. So this whole concept is known as the reflection of the light. So from this diagram, we can conclude many terms. So firstly, I am signifying here that this dash is a mirror. So what is mirror? Mirror is actually a polished surface where the reflection takes place. Now, you can see that this OA ray is coming on the surface. So if this ray is coming on the surface, I can say that this will be my incident ray. So what is the name of this ray? This ray is known as incident ray. This dash is our mirror and this ray is striking on the surface, so this will be our incident ray. Now, this incident ray is falling on the surface at a point O, and you can see that this is meeting at point O, so we can say that this is point of incidence. So the light is striking at the mirror, so this mirror will be our reflecting surface. This is our reflecting surface. And if the ray is striking here, we can say that this OA is our incident ray. Now you can see that this incident ray is striking at the point O here, and this point will be our point of incidence. After striking to the surface, you can see that this ray is bouncing back to the same medium, and we can say that this will be our reflected ray. So this will be our reflected ray. Now, you can see that this N is making an angle of 90 degree with the reflecting surface. So I can say that this ON is our normal. This is our normal. So you can see these terms, that this is our incident ray, this is our reflecting surface, this is our point of incidence, and this is our reflected ray. If I am drawing the perpendicular like this, I can say this will be our normal. Now, you can see that if this angle I am considering, this is known as the glance angle of incidence. So this will be our glance angle of incidence. So here we are arriving at the new term that this angle will be the glance angle of the incidence. And you can see that the angle which is incident ray making at the point of incidence is known as angle of incidence. So this will be nothing but our angle of incidence. This will be our angle of incidence. Now, I am denoting the angle of incidence with a symbol small I. Now, you can see that the angle reflected ray is making with point of incidence is known as the angle of reflection. So I can denote it by the term small r, that is our angle of reflection. So I must say that this will be my angle of reflection. This will be our angle of reflection. Now what is this? Just like the glance angle of the incidence, this is our glance angle of reflection. This will be our glance angle of reflection. So this is our glance angle of reflection, and this angle of incidence will be denoted by I, and angle of reflection will be denoted by the small r. So you can see that how many terms, how many new terms or terminologies we have discussed here. So let me write these terminologies one by one, so it becomes very clear to you that what actually they are. So firstly, first thing is our reflecting surface. You can see that in the diagram we have drawn a reflecting surface. This reflecting surface is nothing but it is simply a mirror, polished mirror, and its name is indicating here that it will be dash. It will be dash. Now, second thing we have taken that the ray is striking at the surface, and what is the name of the ray? The name of the ray is OA, and it is known as the incident ray. So the second thing we have is about incident ray. And what is the name of the incident ray we have? It is OA. Now, Second thing we have, the ray is striking at the reflecting surface at a point, and you can see that this point is O and this point is known as the point of incidence. So third thing we have is point of incidence. So in this diagram we have a point O and this point O is our point of incidence. Now you can see that from that point O in the reflecting surface, the ray is reflected here and the reflected ray is our OB. So we can say that reflected ray is OB here. So the fourth point is reflected ray and that reflected ray will be our OB. Now you can also see here we have drawn a perpendicular at the point of incidence. So the perpendicular at the points of incidence is ON and we can call it as a normal one. So fifth point is normal ray. And which is normal ray here? The normal ray we have here is ON. So this is our normal ray, that is ON. And we have the two angles here, that is the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So these are few terminologies we have, and angle of incidence and reflection I am writing here. That is, we have angle of incidence and the seventh term we have is angle of reflection. And this angle of incidence is small I and angle of reflection is small r. So we can write it as angle small I and angle small r. So you can see that there are few terminologies that are related to this complete picture that will going to show you very easily that what actually the diagram is representing. So this is all about the things or the terminologies we have. Now this is the whole thing about the reflection. Now let's move to the next topic, that there are few rules which have law of reflection have to follow, and these rules are known as the laws of reflection. So just copy this part from here so we can discuss the laws of reflection. So now let's discuss about the laws of reflection. Now reflection is going to follow some rules, and these are known as the laws of reflection. So we have the basic two laws of the reflection. So what first law states that the angle of incidence is always going to be equal to the angle of reflection. So let's discuss about the first law. First law of reflection. If I am again drawing the diagrams like that, if this is our polished surface, suppose this ray is striking here and bouncing back, and this is our normal. So this will be our incident ray, this will be our normal. Suppose this is point O, A, N and B, and this must be our reflected ray. So this will be our angle of incidence and this will be our angle of reflection. So the first law states that angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection. angle I will be equal to angle R. This is our angle of incidence and this is our angle of reflection. So this will be our first law of reflection. These are very important laws because in CBSE directly question has been asked from this that what are the laws of reflection. Secondly, second law of reflection. The second law of reflection states that the incident ray, normal ray and the reflected ray all lies in the same plane. So you can see that these all rays are coming in only one plane. So if I am saying that this is our incident ray, this is our reflected ray and this is our normal ray. So I can say that all these three rays will going to lie in the same plane. So the second law states that incident ray, normal ray and reflected ray all lies in the same plane. So this is our second law. So first law is saying that angle of incidence will be equal to angle of reflection and the second law states that all the three rays will going to lie in the same plane. So this is all about the reflection and laws of reflection. So we will continue this lecture with the another more topics of the reflection. So this lecture is over here. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.